Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis here for you. First Sunday of the year. We're going to try to make this sort of routine here. I am, obviously. Probably saw this background if you were watching last year. I'm at the iHeartMedia News Radio 740 KTRH studios here, Galleria area. But this is probably where most of my I have a lot of downtime, I feel like, as we get to the evening. It's 6:05 p.m., March 31st, 2024, so Astros obviously got swept over the weekend. So not a good start to the season. I mean, 0-4. I predicted they'd split the series before it started at 2-2. But, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of good to talk about. I'll recap these four games briefly, give you my thoughts. Before I actually get into that, though, I wanted to start by talking about...
Dr. Joe coming in?
No. So, yeah, that's a look at my news anchor there. But, before I get into the recap, I want to talk about the roster, which I got to about 24 people on Wednesday when I talked about it. I'm also watching this March Madness game, so if I look up, that's why. But the roster, so yeah, two guys I missed out on. I did mention Gray Kessinger, who didn't make the roster, hasn't played yet. He's just a bench guy. And then the other guy, which I wouldn't have guessed in a million years, was Taylor Scott, because that wasn't a name I'd ever even heard of until opening day. Actually pitched in 2 games, actually 3 games, I think, over the weekend. Or he got in 3 different times. First time was good, second time not so much, third time today pretty good. So we'll see. He's just another arm in there. The bullpen struggled this weekend. I mean, that's sort of the story. I mean, offense didn't do a whole lot either. So, I mean, nothing really went well. I mean, today I felt like today's game, just since it's fresh on my mind, was a lot more bad luck. Like the Yankees had a lot of blue pits, so they were fighting pitches off that just found areas in the outfield. It didn't feel like they were scorching ball over the yard, but they were finding vacated areas of the field. But, I mean, try to think about this here. So, Monday's or Thursday's game, I got to get used to this, but 4 games. So, just to quickly go over these real quick. Thursday, opening day, things got off to a great start. I mean, Framber had a pretty quick inning to start. I think he got the first guy out, walked a guy, then he got a double play, so he got through the inning pretty easily in the first. I mean, he was walking guys, people were getting on base. That's usually Valdez's thing, though. Like, if we know the mental issues he has had, and I mean, we'll see as we go, but his line, 4 2/3, 6 walks. I want to pull it up so I make sure I don't miss anything here. So, but he was walking guys early on, a lot of traffic, but he was getting ground ball double plays, which is his thing. So, usually Framber can allow base runners and walks because he gets so many double plays. But the 5th inning is where he really ran into trouble. But just to give you a box score here. 4 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. 6 walks. That's an issue. 5 strikeouts. 5 hits, 3 earned runs. But I want to get to the 5th inning, and I want to make sure I get this correct. So this is where things sort of unraveled for him in the 5th. He was actually pretty fortunate because I think in back-to-back innings, we had the Yankees had the bases loaded and 1 out. I think this was the 2nd and 3rd inning, and he was able to get double play, ground ball double plays to end the inning without giving up anything in those situations. But the Astros had a 4-0 lead, so it felt good. They were scoring. Valdez was doing good enough. But the 5th inning is where he got into trouble. Walks a leadoff guy, single, walk, single, station to station, 1 run. Gets a strikeout on Aaron Judge. And he strikes out. It's back-to-back strikeouts. So, yeah, after giving up a run, he got Judge to strike out, and he got Giancarlo Stanton to strike out. And then he hits Rizzo, and that was dangerously close to his head, forced in a run. And then it was time to get him out of there, which was, yeah, that was about right. at that point in time. 6 walks, hit by pitch, gave up 2 runs. Seth Martinez comes in. He walks a guy, Volpe, on 4 pitches. Volpe's the guy you need to go after, Anthony Volpe. But he walked him on 4 pitches. Made it 4-3 at that point. Then he gets a ground out, so you get out of the inning. Still leading. But the Astros, just from that point forward, couldn't get another run. And then, of course, Rafael Montero comes in the 6th, gives up the home run to Oswaldo Cabrera, who killed them all series. That was just the start of it. Tied it at 4. And then they scored with Ryan Presley, who actually came in an inning earlier. Now, keep in mind, Abreu was suspended the first 2 games of the series, so you didn't have Abreu. But I understand the move of bringing in Presley in the 7th because that was the top of the order. Like the more leverage, getting the bigger hitters out. Presley in the 7th there, but didn't do his job as he gave a leadoff double. That was Judge who hit the double, and then he came home on a sac fly by Verdugo, and the Astros couldn't get anything else going. They had a chance in the 9th inning. In fact, they had first and second, 1 out, and Tucker in the 9th inning hit a base hit to right field. And as the play was developing, I said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. We know that Gary Pettis is an aggressive third base coach, but I did not like the situation of bringing him home on a base hit that was pretty hard hit, but right to Soto, who threw home. They tagged him out. They reviewed the play. It was a close play, but I did not like that. And then, Bregman grounds out to end the game. So, any way you slice it, you can't lose a game where you're up 4-0. Friday's game, Javier was great. 6 scoreless innings. He was awesome. But the bullpen came in, blew that. They had back-to-back games where the bullpen sort of blown it. Taylor Scott, this is the one outing where he was not good in. But just to give you Javier's numbers, 6 innings, 4 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts. Yeah. But we had a 1-0 lead as we scored in the first. Bregman RBI single. And then it was zeros the rest of the way into the 7th inning where Taylor Scott came in, only got an out, but he got charged with 2 earned runs, walked 2 guys. It's never good. Montero got 2 outs, allowed one of those inherited runners to score, walked a guy, still not good with him. Mashinsky also struggled. There were some errors mixed in there. Mashinsky had one of those errors. I think Pena had another. Things really unraveled quickly as the Yankees put up 7 runs in the final 3 innings, and that game got out of hand late. Bielak actually ended up getting 5 outs. He allowed a home run to Stanton as well. But the bullpen roll call there, where there was obviously no Brian Abreu, no Presley, no Hader, was bad. That's going to be the issue. First time around the rotation, these pitchers can't be stretched out like they usually are. I mean, you cap them at about 80, 90 pitches, somewhere in that range. It's kind of hard to bridge the gap. And these guys, the middle relief guys, excluding Montero, who stinks anyway, these are all guys that have bounced back and forth. I mean, Taylor Scott's a guy, I don't know a lot about his history, but he's never been like a major league guy. I mean, he's had some outings, but I think he's a guy that goes back and forth. Parker Mashinsky, Seth Martinez, Brandon Bielak, all these guys that you're relying on to bridge the gap here are people that are not, they bounce back and forth between AAA and, Major League Ball. So they got to find another guy that's not Abreu, that's not Presley, that's not Hader, that can get you, and we were hoping Montero could resemble some form of the 2022 Montero. But in his outings, he hasn't shown that. It looks like the same old, same old. So after 2 games, that's really what stood out to me, was the whole bullpen trying to get the ball, and obviously not having Abreu hurt. Of course, Abreu gets in the game Saturday, has a terrible outing. Astros actually had a good chance in this one. They're up 3-1. But he'll have 3 runs of his own, a 2-run home run to Oswaldo Cabrera, who killed him all series, and a home run to Juan Soto. So Abreu's first outing of 2024 was not good. Relinquished not only the lead, but gave the Yankees the lead. The Astros couldn't come back, so they lose that one. The Yankees even tacked on an insurance run in that game in the 8th inning as well. That was off of Presley, who also has not been good in his 2 outings this year, giving up runs in both. So Presley has not been sharp either, and obviously Abreu wasn't in that game. But Presley allowed, the go-ahead run in the opening day, and then on Saturday, which was yesterday, he was also gave up a run. Struck out 2 guys, but gave up a hit and earned run. But yeah, the Astros scored some runs there earlier. Dubon had a 2-run double in the 2nd. They tacked on a run on an error in the 5th, but not scoring a whole lot, not hitting with runners in scoring position, runners on base, period. I think you look at this series, first 3 games at least, I'll exclude today, but the first 3 games, they had more than 10 guys left on base, I think, in each of those 3 games, which is unacceptable. Today, the Yankees actually got off, scored a few early runs. I thought J.P. France pitched well. They actually pushed him into the mid-90s pitch-wise, which was a little surprising because he was one of those guys that actually, was sort of behind most starters in spring training because he had that elbow inflammation, I believe. But they pushed him. Let's see, just to give you the 5 2/3. They had to pull him because he was at, let's see if I can find it here. Where was he at? 94 pitches, I think, is what he threw. But, yeah. So, J.P. France, he did all right. 3 earned runs, struck out 5, only walked 1 guy. 6 hits. That was a little on the high side. But overall, I thought J.P. France did pretty well. 5 2/3. Best you could have hoped for. I knew the offense was going to have to score probably about 5 runs to win today, which they couldn't do. But Taylor Scott bounced back after the tough outing on Friday with an inning of work. Walked a guy but got 3 strikeouts. So Abreu bounced back from his rough outing yesterday, getting 4 outs, 2 hits, not great, 2 strikeouts. But Hader gave up the run. There was a very crucial. The Astros fought back. They were down 3-1 pretty early on, but the 2-run 6 with the Kyle Tucker RBI double and a Yanir Diaz RBI single tied it at 3. So at that point, I felt like we had a pretty decent shot. But again, yeah, Hader, there was a very crucial, at the time didn't look big, but with 2 outs, there was a stolen base. I think it might have been Gleyber Torres. I could be wrong there. I'm not exactly sure. But the guy, I'm going to make sure I get this right here. I don't want to misspeak, so when I do all of this here. Yeah, it was Gleyber Torres who got this incredible jump at first to steal second base. At the time, didn't look huge, but, Juan Soto singled, who'd been killing them all series. Juan Soto and Oswaldo Cabrera were the 2 nemesis this week for the Astros. But he hits a single, and Gleyber Torres scores, so that steal second ended up being huge. The Yankees in this game, though, fought off a lot of pitches, like a lot of bloop singles, finding holes. Like the luck was not on the Astros side. But, carryover effect from last year. Astros could not win at home. Really, the entire year last year became more evident late in the year into the playoffs. And then this year, out of the gate, they lose their first 4, and they're back at it tomorrow. 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays. So, Yankees are a good team. Yeah, I think they're a playoff team. I don't think they win their division. I think Baltimore does. But I did pick them as a wild card team. But still, it's the Yankees. The Astros are 0-4. So, it's not good. The last time I remember them starting out this poorly was probably back in I think Brad Mills' first year as manager, which was back in 2011, I think. They were 0-8 to start the year. So hopefully it's not that bad. But, you got through Toronto. Toronto's a very talented team. We know that. And then they go to Texas for 4. Rangers look pretty good early on. They did lose today, I think. So they're 2-1 to start the year. Then you sort of get your easy series with Kansas City. But if we've learned anything from last year, there were no easy series, especially late in the year. And then you come home for Texas for 3 more. And then you stay here and you play Atlanta. So schedule, is not favorable. First 3 weeks of the year here, so before they get an off day Thursday, so and they're gonna go 5-man rotation. So Blanco will get the ball tomorrow, and they're gonna keep Belak in the bullpen, which is probably smart because you need a guy out there that can get you through some innings if you're up big or down big. Hopefully next time we talk about big, the Astros are up big, but got to find a way to exercise these demons at home. So yeah, only 4 games, lost all 4. I mean, opening day and today were 1-run losses where they had chances, just couldn't get it done. Friday's game sort of unraveled late, and in Saturday's game, Abreu is to blame for the blown lead they had. But they didn't lead today. They did tie it at 3, but they led on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I mean, Thursday, like I said, got off to a great start. I mean, you had Chaz McCormick had the 2-run single in the first. Yainer Diaz has been a bright spot thus far. Feel like a lot of base hits early on, carrying the load. Caratini did get the start on Saturday at catcher, but Diaz got the start at DH. So he's been in all 4 games so far. Jordan's been hitless. Jordan hasn't had a hit. I mean, crazy. He hasn't had a hit yet. Tucker had struggled until the RBI double today. Bregman hasn't done anything either. So, I mean, that's 2-3 or 2-4 in the order there. It's been going Altuve, Jordan, Tucker, Bregman. But you got nothing out of... I mean, Altuve got some hits today, which was nice. Tucker had the RBI double, but even up until that, he hadn't done much. Haven't gotten much out of your first 4 guys, to be quite honest. But Altuve had the good day today, but you need to get Bregman, who, God knows, Bregman. But Alvarez is the guy you expect. I mean, that's a guy who's better every year, so this game's about to end here. So, yeah, coming up here, I'm going to try to make these a little bit short and sweeter this year. But yeah, not good things to talk about. I'm not going to panic. It's 4 of 162. There's 158 games to go, so I'm not going to panic here. But the Astros can't turn things around against Toronto, and you don't want to find yourself down, multiple games early in the year in the division, to where it's an uphill climb, and you can't bury yourself. So they really got to find a way to, get 2 wins in this Toronto series. And again, winning your series is the goal. So, but finding a way to win at home. I don't want to hear any excuses about the stupid batter's eye. That's the lamest excuse there is in the book. Okay, it's been there for 7-8 years now. Why is it all of a sudden an issue? They had no issues in 2017 with it, especially in the playoffs. They won like almost every single home game that year. In 2019, they were 60-21 in that ballpark. So I could come up with so many reasons why that batter's eye should not be an issue. And the opposing team never has issues with it, so why should you? And it's been there for 8 years now. 8 years. I don't want to hear it. But the Astros got to find a way. I think it just takes one. You find a way to get 1 win. 1 win. I think that might be able to just get them off the schneid. Maybe they'll relax a little bit and start to pick up some wins in the ballpark. But it's important to, shake the series off, flush it down the toilet, regroup, turn the page, and get ready for Toronto. And, start over here. So, but, yeah, you can't erase the 0-4 record. So, anyway, I still got a little bit of work to do. Not a whole lot, just run the news here coming up. So, I'll wrap things up there. Again, Sundays either here, Mondays if there's an off day on Monday, possibly back at the house, but mostly here if this computer continues to hang on for dear life like it has. But, yeah, I'm going to wrap things up there. We'll talk to you. Yeah, it'll be next week. Well, okay, so next week, it's a night game. They're on the Sunday night broadcast, so you'll probably hear me from my house late next Sunday night will be the goal. Mondays I take off, so that makes things okay. I'd rather play in the afternoon, but it's Texas, so they're going to push it to the Sunday night game. We'll wrap things up there. Talk to you next week.